Q&A or over the video, and we put it out there for the fans. I think it's time to ask you some more questions, if that's all right.
Yeah, fine.
Obviously, every club and every business goes through tough times sometimes, and at the minute, with regards to our results, they're quite negative. How does that affect you as a chairman?
It affects me massively. You know, the results hurt me probably more so than anybody. It's very difficult to go through games when you go on this run, but it's also part and parcel of football as well. You know, we went through 6 games in September and won all 6, and that was euphoria. You know, when we were winning every game, you look forward to the next game and you think you can go in and win every game that you go into. And we've had a real bad spell in October. You know, we've now lost 7 league games in a row, which is very, very difficult to take. And from the fantastic league position that we was in, we've dropped down the table. And it's not just probably been the results, it's probably been in some of them games the performances as well. I don't think they've been up to anywhere near the standard that we've set. And it's been difficult for us because, you know, we've had a severe impact in injuries within the squad. But we've got to take that on board. We've built a squad in the summer, and we've got to improve. But it affects me massively. You know, it ruins my weekend. You know, and we want to get into the next game and start to pick up that win. Really.
Obviously, one of the things for which you just touched on there is the injuries. Obviously, how critical do you see that? And did you expect the performances to dip with some of the key players that were missing?
It's been really difficult. Really difficult. I think any team that has gone through the amount of injuries that we've had would suffer. I think I saw it recently. Manchester City lost key players and they didn't win a game for 6 or 7 games, and then they got the key players back and they go and beat Barcelona. So very, very difficult with it. But like I said, we're not making excuses because we recruited a squad in the summer to be able to compete. But we've had to use some players that we didn't, more so than we thought we'd have to use throughout the course of the season because of their injuries, and some players have had to play out of position as well because of the injuries that we've incurred. And these injuries that have been we've had some of them have been very innocuous. You know, Tom Pope to break 3 ribs and puncture a lung. You know, nobody could foresee that coming, and it was just a collision with the goalkeeper. Craig Jones ruptured his thigh in a tackle at MK Dons. Keane Bryan's ruptured his thigh in a behind closed doors game because he's been suspended for 3 games. And we're trying to get into match fitness again, and very, very difficult. You know, but I think one of the key ones that we've missed has been Nathan Cameron. You know,
and that's been for most of the season.
He started the season fantastically well, did Nathan? He played brilliantly against Charlton, played brilliantly down at Burton, and I know there was a lot of interest in Nathan before the transfer window shut, and we were getting a couple of inquiries from Nathan before the window shut, and we wanted to keep hold of Nathan, and unfortunately he had a reoccurrence of his knee injury, and he's had to go back in for surgery, and that was something where I personally believe Nathan Cameron is one of the best centre-halves in this league. And when you take somebody like Nathan Cameron out of a side, and unfortunately we've had Leon Barnett out injured as well, it's very, very difficult because your defensive line has been, you know, chopping and changing all the way through and not being able to get a rhythm.
And obviously you lost the right back with Jordan missing. Obviously it's really...
Well, it's 50% of your back 4,
yeah.
That's gone. And like I said, Leon's been out injured as well. So him as your third centre-half, who is only just getting back to match fitness now through his injury, and it's going to take him a bit of time. It's been very, very difficult, and you know, Nathan is a key performer for us, and he started the season so well. I remember when we played Charlton on the opening day of the season, he was superb in that game and rightly got man of the match, I think. And you know, even the Charlton board of directors were saying to me, what a player he is. So we went to Burton and he did fantastically well there, and he started the season brilliantly, and we all thought there was going to be real competition for the centre-half places with bringing Leon Barnett and Anthony Kay in, and having Nathan Cameron. We thought, well, we've got 3 centre-halves who are going to challenge for them spots, and it's made it very, very difficult now with losing Nathan.
Obviously, with the lack of form and everything that we've gone through, like you just said, in the month of October, do you think that's affected the confidence of some of the players? What's the morale like at the minute?
Morale's been good. I've been to watch some of the training sessions recently, and the performances in training have been very, very good. The morale's been good, and obviously, you know, losing the 7 games that we've lost in a row now in the league, it does have an impact in terms of, and I thought the performance certainly in the first half against Wimbledon was fantastic. We're 2-0 up, and we hoped to have seen that game out and get the win, and we didn't, but we still created chances in the game, and that performance was far, far better than what it has been in recent weeks. But again, it comes back down to that, you know, we're not making excuses. So the squad's good enough. Certainly the squad was good. The team that started the game on Saturday was good enough to beat Southend, I felt. And we've got to be able to stop the silly mistakes, because I think it's been, in certain games, there's been individual mistakes that have cost us as a team. And that's been difficult, because we've got to work harder. But the morale's good within the players. They want to win. They're all winners. We've recruited a team that wants to win. And they believe in themselves and they believe in the group. And, you know, yes, it's been a real difficult month. It's been difficult with coming away from games, losing it week in, and we've conceded a lot of goals at the moment. And we've got to improve on that. And that's, make no mistake, we've got to improve. However, you know, we're still 5 points off the playoffs from where we sat now. And I know people say we're only 3 points off relegation, but I'm a positive person, and I look to the up, and I think if we, you know, 5 points off the playoffs, and if we can get a win tomorrow night against Wimbledon in the Cup, we can get to the second round of the FA Cup.
Obviously, got to ask, there's a lot of attention directed at the manager at the moment. Obviously, you know, social media and unfortunately everything that goes with that. So as a chairman, you can hear some of the fans, you know, only minority in many instances, you know, booing or asking for the manager to be sacked. How does it affect you when you hear and see things like that as a chairman?
And listen, I'm not daft in terms of it. I've never shied away from making a difficult decision. Anybody that knows me knows I'll make the decisions that I feel is right, and I've made a lot of tough decisions in my career and what I've done. So, you know, it is difficult to hear the negativity, and you know, when we, like I said, when we won 6 out of 6, we were all happy and positive, and David got manager of the month. We were sat 3rd in the league, and everything was rosy in the garden. We've lost games. You know, if we'd have probably won 3 and lost 3 in the 2 months, I don't think people would have been in that situation with the same amount of points. And it's difficult because it's identified by losing the run of games that we've lost. But you know, nobody's working harder than David to put things right. He wants to put things right. He's working extremely hard to put things right. And you know, I've looked at what we've got as a squad, and I know that we've been depleted with injuries. You know, that has been a big factor for us, and I still believe that in this squad of players, and I still believe in David that he can turn things around. But I'm also a chairman that believes sacking managers isn't always the right option. I've looked at it with a lot of other football clubs. You know, I know Blackburn, Wolves, Leeds United. They've all sacked a lot of managers, and what success has it brought them by doing that? By changing a manager around. You know, sometimes you've got to give people time, and you've got to give them patience. When David came into it, he's come up to his third year anniversary this December, and when David came into this job, we were sat second bottom of League 2 and on the verge of going out of the conference. I remember playing York City at home and beating them 2-1 in December, and York City that season got in the playoffs. Yeah,
look where they are now.
And they're now in the conference and on the verge of potentially being relegated again out of the conference. That year, Tranmere was sat in League 1, who have got a bigger fan base than us. You know, it's a big club, it's Tranmere Football Club, and they got relegated from League 1 into League 2, and that's where we had to, you know, we brought in players like Ryan Lowe and other people to come into the side from Tranmere's downfall. And then Tranmere then got relegated again into the conference. You know, we now got promotion into League 1. Last year was about sustainability. Last year we had a very good cup run. I think it was 35-40 years since we've last got in the FA Cup 4th round. So to have that cup run and to be able to keep our League 1 status was what we wanted to achieve, and we did that. This year we wanted to kick on from it. And the way that we started the season looked like we were going to kick on and have a very successful season. And there's still a long, long way to go in the season. We're in November, and I've never known anybody win the league in November or get promotion in November.
Well, if you look at Barnsley last season.
It's a great point. You know, Barnsley last season, I think they lost 8, maybe 9 games on the bounce. We sat bottom of the table of League 1. Lee Johnson was the manager. Lee turned things around there. He actually got Barnsley sold, they'd got a compensation clause for him to go to Bristol City, and he's doing a fantastic job at Bristol City now. And the manager stepped up within the team to become the first team manager, and they got in the playoffs and won promotion. So it shows that sometimes time and patience, is needed in football. And I can understand fans' frustrations. I can understand nobody wants to win games more than me. Nobody wants to win games more than me. And it is frustrating getting beat, but now's the time we need the support of the fans more than ever.
Do you not think, though, as well, is what many fans don't get the chance to see, and maybe we need to address this for the future, is the amount of work, especially what the gaffer's done and the input and the youth, and in effect we've had to rebuild everything from scratch. So the fans don't actually see the hours and that you and him put in at Carrington and one thing and another, rebuilding that side. All that the fans see is a Saturday or a Tuesday night. They don't see what's effort's put in.
Without a doubt, and the work that has gone into it, the youth and the academy, and David's had an instrumental part to play in that. We've talked about it for hours. When we first met with David 3 years ago, was talking about the whole strategy within the football club, because it didn't for me have an identity in terms of the playing style and in terms of kids coming through the academy system, being able to sell players on. That's something that we talked about as a business model. We've got a real conveyor belt of talent coming through, and David's been instrumental in that, forming that as part of the half-day release that we now do. And we talk about a plan and a vision of what we want to try and do. And our plan and vision, we always said, was for the first team was to try and be competing or getting promotion after 5 years into the championship. We're still on course for that. The aim was to bring academy players through the system and being able to sell them academy players on, which we've done, and we're achieving that. We've got huge, significant interest. This weekend again at Carrington, I've got scouts from Chelsea, Arsenal, Manchester United and Manchester City, all in attendance looking at our young players coming through. We've got some real exciting players coming through. Joe Adams was a 15-year-old boy, he's playing for the under-18s at the moment, and he's playing in the FA Youth Cup. We've got another lad, Femi, who's 13 years old, he's playing for the under-16s at the moment. He's playing 3 years, he's senior. So that's something that we're trying to really promote within the academy staff, and the work that goes into it, which people don't see. And I know we all want the first team to win on a Saturday. That is the ultimate thing, and a lot of managers get judged by the first team on a Saturday. But there's a lot more that goes into running this football club than just winning on a Saturday. And from what we've got fantastic fans here, but we have an average of about 3,000 to 3,500 fans that are coming through. And we've got big clubs in this division. I think 5 clubs in League One have all had Premier League experience. So 5 clubs in League One, to have that Premier League experience, they've been there, and some of them have got fantastic resources available to them, fantastic stadiums, fantastic facilities, and huge fan base. I think Bradford City get around about 18,000 a week going there. So we're competing, we're actually overachieving with being where we are, but we always want to push higher, we always want to push further, and we want success. But sometimes, like I said, it takes time. It's patience that you've got to look at doing, and that patience is needed. And certainly for myself at the moment, sometimes it's quite easy then to sack a manager. That's the easy option.
There was quite a famous club locally to us that nearly sacked their manager, and their board was very patient for a long period of time.
Well, that's the thing. I think nobody actually recognises the Manchester United board at the time was probably that decision by keeping Sir Alex Ferguson, I'm sure, has been the best board decision that's ever been made in football. Because Sir Alex Ferguson was the best and most successful manager that we've seen, and he was on the verge of losing his job. But the board stayed with him, the board backed him and decided that he's the man for the job, and the success that he got from being that. And that's what we want, is, nobody likes losing games. No manager likes losing games, no player likes losing games, and the players, they're hurting, the managers are hurting, and we are as well. But the way that you've got to try and look at this is, how can we help turn it around? What can we do to turn this around? And we've got to give David the belief, and we've got to give him the support to have this opportunity to turn it around, because we gave him the support and the belief when we won 6 out of 6 and we were sat third in the table. So, we've got to give him that support and infrastructure as well now when we're not doing so well. And I believe in David that will turn this around. I believe in the players that they can turn this around, and we can start getting results. And like I said, we're only in early November. There's a long way to go of this season.
Last question. Obviously it's the FA Cup replay tomorrow night. Apart from the trip there and back, which we go do again on Saturday, obviously. Potential is a TV game after. What's your thoughts? What's your thoughts about tomorrow?
It's a big game. You know, it's a big game. The FA Cup is a competition I love. It's dear to my heart. I remember watching the FA Cup finals as a boy with my dad. That was the thing. I think everybody has their own memories of the FA Cup, and Bury's got a fantastic tradition in the FA Cup, and that's something that we want to do very well in. And certainly last season to get to the fourth round, which, like I said, it was the first time we'd achieved that for a lot of years. That's something that I want us to try and achieve and emulate and surpass this year as well. It's going to be difficult. You know, Wimbledon, they're a good side. They've got some very good players in their side, and it's a small pitch at Wimbledon. But we go there that we've got to try and get a win. And sometimes, you know, that FA Cup having a bit of a break from the league, you know, we can hopefully try and get that win tomorrow, and that can be the catalyst to kick us on. Because, you know, we looking at that, we can get the TV game in the second round, and I'm sure ourselves and Wimbledon be looking at and thinking that it's a chance to progress into the third round when the bigger teams come in. But we're taking nothing for granted. You know, we know it's going to be a very tough fixture tomorrow. Certainly a long drive there and a long drive back as well. But it's something that I look forward to, and I'll be going there to support the team and support the manager and getting behind the lads and hopefully getting that win. But we've certainly, I believe, we've come a long way as a football club. We've come a long way, and like I said, we touched on a couple of clubs there that have gone the opposite direction. And it is very difficult, and sometimes not changing the manager is not the ultimate thing to do, and sometimes backing the manager and trying to give them a bit more time to turn things around is something that you've got to do and support them as well. And that's why we're asking now, more so than ever, is we want the fans to really get behind the team, get behind the club. I know there's that air of negativity out there, and I know that, but we're saying just put that to one side for a minute, because it wasn't so long ago where we were winning 6 out of 6, and we want that support back. We want that to get behind us, because as one club, if we all get together and support each other, we'll get out of this and we'll turn things around. And I still believe we can have an extremely successful season, and so do the players, and so does the manager.
Brilliant. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.